Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and welcome to the very first episode of the Champions of Small Business podcast. I am Charlie Anderson. I'm your host, and I'm joined today by the great and powerful Chad Hopple. Chad Hopple is the owner of Shire Decks. They're a local deck builder located right here in Dillsbrook, Pennsylvania, and he is our very, very first guest. So I wanted to give a huge thank you to you, Chad, for taking this plunge with me and being on our very first episode. It really means a lot to me. I've watched you over the years, and I really respect, the business that you've built and the things that you do. I've been watching for a long time, so I'm greatly honored to have you here today, and looking forward to learning a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and feel honored to be your first guest. And
thank you. Awesome.
Kick this thing off for you.
Let's do it. All right. So, give us a little bit of backstory about you, Chad. Where did you come from? How did you get into the construction trades? How did you get to where you are today?
Well, when I was younger, in high school, I worked a lot with my dad doing roofing and my uncle doing renovation type work. Actually was set out on a path to do culinary cooking for the rest of my life. So I have a degree in culinary arts.
So interesting.
But I went from culinary to getting an offer doing bridge building.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of a pay difference there. I went from like $14 an hour, which was back when you could pay someone $14 an hour, to $30 an hour.
Nice.
So doing that kind of just set me into the field, into the trades field, doing concrete work with Devlin is the company I worked for.
Okay, yeah.
And that just set me on a path. Then I held a lot of different roles in several different trades, from being a laborer, carpenter, to a project manager, and eventually leading me to the place of starting my own business. I'm 10 years strong now on working for myself, which is an accomplishment in itself.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, it's not always easy. It's not always rainbows and butterflies.
No, that's for sure.
But so I started out my business as Chad Hopple General Contractor, doing home remodeling, renovation type work. One of my employees actually approached me and asked if I had ever done epoxy coatings. I said no. He had some experience with it, so it kind of led us into starting another side business called Keystone Epoxy Systems, which pretty much took over because at the time we were the only ones really doing epoxy coatings in the area.
Yeah.
I sold that business to another business, and I'm thankful because I never have to touch any kind of coating ever again. Absolute pain. Lots of opportunities for failure there.
Yeah.
And, it's just finicky. You got to be
perfect
with it. Sometimes the product's just not quite what it needs to be.
I mean, the preparation has to be perfect for that kind of thing, right? For it to adhere and not come off down the road, right?
Yeah, the preparation is the separation.
Yeah.
So
okay,
once you have that set up right, and you get your coatings down, there's a lot of great companies out there now. I know a few personally that they put out a great product, whatever,
right,
and they do it right. It's going to last forever. But
nice.
If it's a run of the mill company that says they know what they're doing and they don't pull out a grinder to prep your pad, like they're going to have some issues.
Yeah.
So we moved on from epoxy, and I started my deck business. Started out as Chad Hopple deck specialist. Didn't really think it was going to take off the way that it did, but luckily for me, COVID actually helped. People were staying home, wanted to improve their outdoor living space.
People had extra money in their pockets back then.
It was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were like upset with COVID, and I was like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. But that's, aside from all the dying people.
Right, of course. Of course, yeah. At least there was some silver lining to COVID, right? At least some businesses. I mean, it gave a lot of businesses a nice jumping point.
Yeah, especially home renovations, I feel like, in general.
Oh, yeah.
Because if the customer didn't mind you being there and they had the money, they weren't traveling, they were home, and they wanted to enjoy the space they were working in.
Yeah.
It really helped out.
Yeah, it was a big jumping point for DreamWorks Roofing as well back then. It was, it forced us to kind of rethink the way that we did our business. We had to we came up with different ways to market ourselves because we were a big door knocking company back then, so we couldn't go knock doors anymore. So we're like, that's basically when we started doing video. We started reading Marcus Sheridan, and we started doing video, and we've never looked back, and it's completely transformed the way that we operated our business. But yeah, so I guess there was a little silver lining to COVID.
A little bit. So with that growth, I knew that I had to incorporate. Couldn't just stay the little guy.
Right.
So that's when I became West Shore Decks.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of fizzled out. Well, didn't fizzle out. I had to change the name because
kind of got forced to fizzle out, huh?
Yeah, forced to fizzle out. And we still do work on the West Shore, but it is what it is. Now we're West Shire Decks. So
yeah, I always thought that was an interesting story. I was watching it kind of as that whole thing progressed. I saw you post on Facebook like we have to change our name from West Shore to West Shire. So was that, for anyone that's listening that is a business owner that's considering, the first time you name your business, it's never, in my experience at least, it's never quite the right name. So how hard is it to change your name, like in a business? Like what's that process like? And was it like really tough for you?
It was kind of tough. We actually ended up having to create a whole new EIN. We didn't just change the name. So that came with all of its own changes, from bank accounts to payroll to just everything, taxes. Right. So not easy, but it was cheaper than fighting a lawsuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to be clear, it wasn't us being sued for shoddy workmanship or anything like that. Right. It was because the name was trademarked and the owner of the trademark did not want us to use the terms West Shore.
Yeah, so anybody in the construction industry, like that's completely off limits now.
Yep.
So yeah, that must have been challenging. I know, DreamWorks, we changed our name, and you don't realize how much equity you build up in a name over the course of a few years, because I think we were 5 years in when we changed our name. Yeah. And it's like, holy, like there's a lot to change, right? And I still have things out there that I still need to go through and fix. I try to get like one a month, like an old listing or something like that, change out.
Yeah.
But so you said you started in cooking. That's awesome to me. I didn't realize that you had that. I love cooking too, and I wonder if there's some kind of correlation between tradespeople and cooking. Like there's a similar level of finesse in what you do, and a similar level of like thought that goes into cooking. So I wonder if there's any kind of like, did you like cooking always as a kid growing up?
Yeah, growing up, I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
I'd cook with my grandparents, my grandmothers, and my family. And I went to Votech for culinary, and then I went to college for culinary.
Nice.
And I lived in Colorado a little bit, and I cooked out there. And like, it was all just kind of set up that that's what I was going to do. And
right.
Who knows? Maybe someday I'll come back around to it.
Yeah.
And maybe I can open a restaurant or something similar.
Yeah. That's something I've always kicked that idea around too. Like that I would love to open a restaurant, and I have so much respect for people who get into that business and they're able to make it work.
Yeah.
Because we as people in the construction trades, we usually have very large tickets. So for someone to get successful selling such a small ticketed item like a meal is just like, I think it takes so much tenacity. I have so much respect for people who can make that industry work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see so many restaurants failing.
Yeah.
Just because like they need our help. They need our support.
Seriously.
Like, go out and eat at your favorite restaurant tonight, tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah, seriously. And if it's a small local restaurant, that's it's probably even better. So one of the questions I have written down here is like, someone to specialize in something like decks, I think is a really interesting business choice, right? Where you're that's all you guys do is decks, right? I know you've kind of branched out into some other things like concrete and that sort of thing, but like to specialize in decks, most people don't really specialize in decks. I think that was a really smart business move, because I don't think you're really competing for a lot of searches or competing for a lot of clicks for other companies that are specifically in decks. So was that something that you kind of did on purpose to?
Yeah, I did. When I did general contracting, I kind of enjoyed building decks, changing that outdoor living space. And I thought, from my experience with Keystone Epoxy Systems, having that business, it was like I specialized in something.
Right.
And when you're doing general contracting, remodeling, you got to have everything. Like you got to be prepared for plumbing one day, electrical the next.
Right.
flooring the next day, drywall the next, and it got to the point where it's like, you know what, if I just do one thing, I can be prepared for that every day.
Right. You already have the right tools, so you have everything that you need.
And it's less, you know, if we bring in guys, we train them to build decks.
Yeah.
We don't train them to do 20 different things.
Nice.
So this is what we do every day. We build decks.
That's awesome.
So
I think that's a really, really smart, business move. It's, I haven't seen that. So I wanted to commemorate you for that. I think that's a good way to do it. And, you know that the product that you guys are putting out is like a solid product. That's all you do every single day. You're not messing with someone that's doing kitchens and bathrooms and also doing decks and roofing and doing this and that. So,
and that's helped us establish like our notoriety with Trex. We're the only pro platinum dealer installer in this area.
Really?
So
nice.
You know, they recognize us that we're the guys to build the deck.
That's awesome. So very cool. So tell me about, this is an interesting thing that I want to kind of make a revolving thing. And I think people in the trades will really identify with this, but and you don't have to go into too much detail, but tell me about a time when the customer was wrong. Can you think of a time that customer was wrong, but you had to kind of swallow your pride a little bit and bend over for him, like bend over backwards for him?
Yeah, I mean, you have it.
Yeah.
It happens more often than you probably want to even deal with, but these days with Google, with everything that's out there, it's everyone thinks that they're a specialist in whatever they can Google and come up with.
Oh yeah.
And there's plenty of instances where, you know, someone has said, well, you know, I looked this up and it doesn't look like you did it the right way.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we've done this thousands of times.
Yeah. Have you ever had to like fix it the way that somebody wanted you to fix it?
No. For the most part, no.
You're able to educate them?
Yeah.
On why you did it the way you did?
And if we have to, it's like, okay, we're going to bring someone that's even more knowledgeable, like a product rep.
Right.
And they're going to tell you
nice.
that we did it the right way.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, too, that consumers especially understand that we're doing this because we're the best at it.
Yes.
Right? Like you guys are doing roofing because you're the best at doing roofing.
Right.
Like we're building decks because we're the best at building decks.
Right.
Trust us.
Yeah.
Like put a little faith in your tradesmen.
Yeah. Like we are the experts.
Yeah.
You know, this is all we do. And, you know, we're as contractors, we have such a stigma that surrounds us. That's like the shady contractor that's trying to rip you off, or the this or the that, you know? So I think it's really important that, you know, and a good thing that you frame yourself as the expert that you are, you know, to combat these kind of things.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a big thing that I've seen lately is this movement of bringing respect back to the trades.
Absolutely.
You know, that we're not just some guy that shows up in his pickup truck that's going to come do whatever for you. Like,
yeah, these are, I mean, I'm not sure what it was, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, but it's, you know, trades is a real business and you can make real money and you can have a real like career doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And I wish more people understood how important the trades are to like our economy.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean, without us, there's who's gonna fix your house?
They
And,
keep
you know,
saying it's a dying breed too, and I see that with these older guys that are done working, whether or not they have the opportunity to retire if they've set anything aside. But we don't have a lot of young people that are coming up and wanting to learn the trades.
Right.
It's like we need them.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, it's what I read that I think for every 4 tradesmen that leave or retire, only 1 replaces them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's nuts.
Yeah. So that kind of leads me into something else I wanted to say. Like, what's your biggest challenge as running a business each and every day? You know, running a business that just does decks. Like, what's your number one challenge?
I think we all have the same challenges. You know, from a business owner aspect, is being able to balance work and life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, you have that.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be successful in business, you have to answer the phone. You have to make sure people are acknowledged, even if it's something simple, but it's really difficult to separate work and life.
Yeah.
I've done a lot to try to be able to do that more, but you know, there's still nights where it's 10, 11 o'clock and I'm working on something.
Right.
It's an early morning.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing. But, just as a business owner, working with people, employees,
Yeah.
that can be difficult.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own way of wanting to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you get to a point where we're at, where it's like, this is how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we want it done.
Yeah.
Like that's
having those processes in place is important.
Yeah.
To create something consistent for your customer, and then trying to also communicate that to people. People are messy, people can be messy and they want to do things their way, but that's how do you deal with like your wife and kids and keeping it in the business? I know this is something that I struggle with, like personally, is I try to segment time for my wife and my kids, and my kids probably look at me like, this guy's always on the phone. Does he really care about us? Do you feel that same kind of pressure?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you have a daughter very similar to my age, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she's 5.
Yeah, I have a 4 and a 6-year-old.
Yeah, so it's difficult, and I'm not married anymore, which could be partly because of being a business owner. But
yeah.
I am in another relationship, and
right.
My girlfriend has a daughter who's also 4, so I try to break up the time and make sure that I am spending it with them, especially weekends.
Right.
Like, I feel like I try to separate myself.
Yeah.
Pretty heavily on weekends.
Yeah.
That's our time.
Yeah.
And everybody needs that.
Right.
And I think we're kind of in a changing where everyone's like, we need to work, to a point where it's like, everybody needs a break.
Yeah.
Like, you need that mental break. You need a physical break.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if anything, COVID may have enlightened that in all of us too.
Yeah.
Realizing that like, hey, life is short and work can drop out at any moment in time, and you have to be forced to do something you're not used to doing, or working in a way you're not used to working. I know it changed a ton of stuff here for us at DreamWorks. Like, our guys we don't have a request off policy. I mean, we have like a notice of absence, right? If you want to take a day off, you just simply just let us know, and we're never going to deny somebody a day off, because, it's just changing the way that we want people to have a good work-life balance. And nobody's taken advantage of that yet. Have you ever had an employee that you had to like let go on messy terms?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
who hasn't?
Yeah,
it's always fun. It's always something, and there's the human aspect to it.
Yeah,
like, and I don't think employees understand. Like, we care.
Yeah,
we care that we know what we're doing.
Absolutely,
we have to look out for our business.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking out for our employees. But there's that human aspect of it of, yes, it hurts us just as much as it's going to hurt you to let you go from this position.
It doesn't feel good.
And I work with other business owners too that we've had that conversation where, hey, I got to let this guy go.
Yeah.
And it's something you might dwell on for a couple of days before you have to do it.
I've had nights where I did not get a wink of sleep.
Yeah.
Because we had to let somebody go.
And it's unfortunate. It's a part of being a business owner, and that you're gonna have to let people go when they're not doing what you need them to. But I think it's just one of those things where people that don't have that mindset are always going to be like, oh well, they don't care. They're just trying to make money. It's like, well, no, we do care.
Yeah,
like,
no, this isn't about just making money.
Yeah,
there's so much more to a business. I mean, truthfully, money is the last thing that happens in a business.
Money is the byproduct.
Yeah, money is the byproduct of all this. At the root of it, we're all a customer service company, or we're a sales company. Really, we have to go out there and figure out what's going to suit your needs the best, and the best way to do that for you. And money's the last thing we think about usually.
Yeah.
Or the last thing that comes to us, at least.
Yeah. And that's one big thing too. It's like, a lot of us, I feel like we need to start being more marketing companies that just happen to do whatever the trade is.
Sure.
And I feel like you guys have done that pretty well, and we've been working on that too.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting in front of people and staying in front of people.
Yeah.
Like how our advertising and marketing works.
Yeah. And that's where, like, I know for us, we just we don't care if people even hire us. We just want people to be educated.
Yeah.
Because like I mentioned earlier, there's so there's a lot of people out there that aren't necessarily going to do the best job for you, or not going to put your best interest first, and they're gonna have the money on the front side of that equation versus on the back side of that equation. Yeah. Because ultimately, I mean, if we don't have,
and we can just name them off right now.
But yeah, I mean, we could take this podcast for a while. But at the end of the day, we want people to be educated, because most people don't know how to build a deck, or they're not going to get up on their roof and install their own shingles or tear them off, because it's dangerous. It takes years to learn. It's tough to do. And I think something that something that we do and that a lot of other businesses can learn from is to educate.
Yeah,
educate your customer, because a well-informed customer is in the long term gonna be a better customer for you.
Yeah, and I think we've understood now that not everyone is our customer, right? And as long as they know, we're not the cheapest,
right? We're
not cutting corners, we're building to code. Make sure whoever you hire builds it or puts it together the way it's supposed to.
Right.
That's all it really comes down to.
Right.
And if they don't want to stand by their work, there's a big red flag.
Yep, exactly.
So
yeah, get that kind of stuff in writing. Like, what codes are you, do you pull permits? Do you do do you do this? And test people. But how are people supposed to know how to test a contractor unless they know? Unless they know. So yeah, I think that's it's the cornerstone of what we do. It's just educate, right? We barely even say our name in our marketing. We just say, hey, you want to know about why you need 2 rows of ice and water shield on your roof? Here, let us show you. And then at the very end, we'll say, hey, we're DreamWorks Roofing. Give us a call if you're interested.
You don't use duct tape on your chimney.
You saw that, huh?
Yeah.
Duct tape on a chimney, man. It's
duct tape doesn't belong anywhere.
No. If we say with roofing, you should have as little caulk as possible, and definitely no duct tape.
Yeah.
If you're ordering more than 2 tubes of caulk on a roof, unless it's a really big roof, you might have a problem.
Yeah.
So tell me about one of the most joyous moments in your business that you've experienced. Did you win a big project? Did you have a customer write you this awesome review, or did you get a partnership with somebody? What's a great joyous moment that anything you can think of?
I think it's seeing big wins for guys that work for me.
That's awesome.
When they say a sales guy brings in a big job and he's super proud of that.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Yep.
Not just because we got a big job, but they're happy that they've done their job well, and being able to reward our guys for, our crews.
Yeah.
For the work they do, and just being able to celebrate with them. Even if it's something small, we can do for them.
Yeah.
That's really the big thing for me.
Right.
I did expand. So I started another business, Shire Concrete. It's completely separate from decks, but we actually just purchased 2 concrete trucks. So
get out of here.
We're expanding there. So it's a big growth.
That's awesome, man.
It's pretty exciting.
How's that expansion feel? I know we're going through an expansion right now, and it's a lot to juggle.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's like that old analogy, you're drowning and someone hands you a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was drowning holding a baby, and they're like, here's another baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Well, that's awesome though. I mean, you're just trying to, you're trying to take those same processes that, work in your deck business, and, you're an expert here, take that expertise and grow it.
I've been able to hire the right people. I have a great team, and just trusting those processes and continuing to repeat those processes. And processes are built and renewed every day. It's not like this is an end all be all.
Right.
Every day there's going to be something new that says, hey, maybe we should adjust this a little bit.
Right.
And anybody that says this is the way we do it and this is the way we're always going to do it, I don't think that they're going to last too long in a business. And
I think that's a really important line to draw here, and something to call attention to is when a small business kind of screws something up, it's because we're kind of testing, right? We're out there to give the best experience to the customer and do the best work we possibly can, but at the same time, like there are mistakes that are going to happen, especially
Yeah.
in a small business, right?
Oh, for sure.
You know, Walmart or Target, I mean, they check out 18,000 customers a day per store. They know what to do. Their systems and processes are down to, you know, they're concrete. But for someone like us, you know, the those little errors can be there, and it's you know, I don't want to say that's unfair, but it's tough to judge a small business that makes a mistake, and
Yeah,
you know,
especially if they own up to it.
Yeah,
Like, hey, we made a mistake, let's fix it.
right.
And anyone that can't accept the fact that people are making mistakes, like,
Right.
that's probably not someone I want to work with either. Right? People make mistakes. We
Yeah.
all make mistakes. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
Every day.
I make mistakes every single day.
Like,
I made a mistake when we started this podcast. I forgot to hit record.
it's all right. You know, we got nothing but time here. Nothing but time.
So, like, have you ever gotten a bad review?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And most of our bad reviews are just whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we have a bad review on Google right now that says if they build decks like they drive, they're probably not very good.
Dude, that's so unfair.
It's not even someone that we
It's
worked
so
for.
unfair.
So, you know, you'll have this.
Yeah.
We have people that, you know, we didn't complete their job in a timely manner, but that was due to them.
Yeah.
And so now their complaint is you didn't get done fast enough. So,
Right.
well, we would have had it done fast enough if you would have provided us with the proper information
Yeah.
and got it done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'd say as far as Google goes with reviews, you know, we have a couple on there that if anyone's going to look at it, they're going to understand that those people are nuts.
Right.
Other stuff, you know, we have all 5-star reviews, try to stay positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone has negative reviews, we like to resolve the issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, can we turn it around?
Yeah.
If someone was going to say, oh, you're going to get a 1-star review, well,
Yeah.
what can we do to improve that?
Right.
What's it going to take?
Yeah. You take that as an actual learning experience and change your processes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I want people to understand that, you know, don't write small businesses bad reviews over something like, you know, they cut you off by accident. Like we're people,
Yeah.
you know, we're all messy human beings.
And
you know, if I cut you off,
that
by
person
accident,
might not
you
even
know?
work for you anymore.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
That person cut you off and got fired that day. Well, that review is going to last forever.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. You know, give us a little bit of leniency.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lot on our shoulders here, and we can't control if somebody cuts you off in traffic by by accident.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. Yeah, I think we've had a few of those. I don't know if anyone's ever left a bad review, but I've certainly got the calls, and people threaten to do it. But knock on wood, that we don't get any here. So maybe a bit of a personal question, but is there a moment where you've ever cried from your business? I know you're a tough guy, but like a time where it was just either tears of joy or tears of pain.
Yeah, I've had, I mean, maybe not to the point of tears, but just the stress load of
Yeah.
everything you have going on
Yeah.
starts to really weigh on you. And, you know, luckily I've found that now that I've grown, I have like a life coach
Yeah.
that I talk
you do?
to. Yeah.
Nice.
I have a business coach that I talk to.
Nice.
And like, I think it's important that anyone in roles like ours has those kind of people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there was a stigma of, you know, just keep it to yourself and figure it out.
Right.
And I think older contractors probably too, like, you're not going out and talking to other contractors about stuff.
No.
You're just sticking to yourself.
Right.
And again, I feel like there's a movement here of, hey, we're all contractors. Let's work together, whether we do the same thing or not.
Right.
Like, let's help each other and
Yeah.
learn about whatever we have to learn about.
Right.
Whether it's marketing, sales, or, you know, just sitting down and chatting about some problems that we both have.
Yeah.
Like this. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's what that's what this is. It's about to talk about the real things, you know, and have a one-on-one basically business coaching session and
Yeah.
you know, unload session.
And being able to just sit down and have a discussion with someone that is a peer,
Yeah.
you know, is a lot different than, you know, some other friends you might have that
Yeah.
aren't going through the same thing you're going
Right.
through because they don't own a business.
Yeah.
They they clock in and out somewhere.
Yeah, it's really hard to find someone who understands what we go through. I'm extremely blessed. I have Steve, my partners, Steve and Moses, so I have some guys I can help shoulder, some of this responsibility on. But we all feel it in different ways because we handle different parts of the company.
Yeah.
But that's a really good piece of advice to anyone who's listening that is struggling with business ownership, and it's okay not to have all the answers.
Oh yeah.
And it's okay to reach out to others because someone else has been there and someone else is more than willing to listen to you. We don't have a lot of people we can always talk to.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people understand this.
It took me a long time to realize just ask for help.
Same.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
What's it gonna hurt?
It's something I still struggle with actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just feel proud and it's difficult. So
because there's a lot of people that are bigger and more profitable and have done it longer and they know. It's like, talk to those people.
Yeah.
And that's why, I've joined some of the groups I'm a part of, like being able to do that.
So that's a recommendation from Chad Hopple. Find a business coach, find a life coach.
Yeah.
Those things, while I'm sure they cost money, they're probably well worth.
Oh, every penny.
Well worth the investment.
Yeah. And you got to invest in yourself. Like, I've broken down my life into 4 segments, and I have coaching in 3 of the 4 of them. Nice. So it's like, what else can you do than have someone? And my greatest example is, you've never seen a team like the Philadelphia Eagles go out on the field without someone standing on the sideline telling them what to do or how to help. Right? They're great athletes. They know what to do.
Yeah.
They're the best of the best, right? Yeah. But there's still someone there telling them how to do their job, helping them get to the goal. And in this case, scoring a touchdown. Yeah. They're not out there doing it themselves.
Right. That's a really interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
You're opening my eyes right now.
I hope, and that's the big thing. And it doesn't really matter what it costs. That I know everybody has to work within whatever they can afford.
Of course. But
it doesn't matter what it costs. If it's going to help you improve, it's going to help you improve all the way around.
Right.
So if it costs me money, it's probably going to make me money.
Right.
And I see that with my personal life coach, my business coaching, and I have a personal trainer at the gym. So those are 3 of the 4 areas of my life that I break down.
Right.
And all of those, I have someone there to help me, guide me, help me achieve my goals.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really awesome, man. Thanks for sharing all that. I think that's a really, really invaluable piece of advice that I can probably take from. I think a lot of people could probably take from that.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a business owner.
Oh yeah.
Take care of yourself, because you can't take care of others unless you're taking care of yourself. And
for sure.
Yeah.
That's a top thing.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I think that's about all I had for you, Chad. I didn't want the podcast to run too long, because I don't want to, I don't want to just
bore
drag
people
it out
to death.
Exactly. Right. We're here to be entertaining. We're here to be informative. But one of the overarching messages for this podcast is, when there's a big option available and there's a small option available as far as businesses go, take your money and use it at that small place at least once per month if you can.
Oh, absolutely.
I sat and went mad scientist and ran some numbers the other day, and we have 1.5 million people in our area here. If we were to take like Lancaster County, York County, Cumberland County, and Dauphin County, about 1.5 million people. So about 1 million to 1.1 million of those people are of the age where they can make a buying decision, basically not children. So what I really want to implore people to do is, I know Amazon's the easy choice, and I know that it's really easy to sit on your couch and, if you want a new book, to just go get a book open your phone, get Amazon, and it shows up at your door 2 days later. But if we could take $50 of that spending away from Amazon, away from Target, away from, whatever it may be, and use that at a local place, just $50 each person, it would pump $450 million into our local economy in just 1 year's time. So that's something I wanted to that's kind of,
So what we
be my
need
sign off here, but
is every person to write a check to DreamWorks for $50 and
That's
just
it.
mail it to
Yes.
them. Perfect.
I promise we'll make the area better with it. But yeah, it's a really important thing, you know, and I know, you know, in our businesses, there's not really like a big conglomerate that you can choose to do this versus someone like us. Like it's usually kind of smaller boutique, small businesses that are doing either roofing or doing, you know, deck building. But I think it's something really important, and I just wanted to reiterate as much as I can that something as small as $50 a month can have a humongous impact. Instead of going to Starbucks, go to Juice and Java, or instead of going to Pizza Hut, go to Brothers or whatever it may be. So that's something I want to really be an overarching thing here. So, but yeah, Chad, that's all I got for you, man. I had a blast.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me. I had a good time.
I hope that we can have some more guests that are as personable as you, because you had a really good story, man. And yeah, seriously, just thanks for sharing. Thanks for getting vulnerable. You know, I know it's tough for business owners and guys to talk about real things sometimes. So really, really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was episode 1 of the Champions of Small Business podcast. Join us. We'll be putting this up Saturday, and then we'll be following up with 2 more episodes the following week. So next Saturday, the following Saturday, look for more from us. So Champions of Small Business podcast, out.